Hey, Las Vegas, thanks for joining us again on Realty Check, your local Las Vegas real estate news show. I'm your host, Trish Williams.
And I'm your co-host, Tiana Carroll. And like always, we are going to talk about what is happening locally in the Las Vegas real estate. And we also have a guest today, the very beautiful, very kind-hearted Mia Wolfe.
Yes, Mia is with First Class Realty. And Mia is an amazing person. If you know Mia, you've seen her all over social media. You can't be anywhere on social media without seeing her. So she's
so sweet.
She's the queen.
You guys are so fun to chat with, so I enjoy being on the show. But before we start, I do have something to give you. So I have a surprise for you.
Yay!
I know, if anybody that knows Trish, because she can throw out the compliments, but if you know her, you know that she loves 90s music, does she not? She loves artsy stuff. She loves artsy stuff, and she loves closing gifts.
Yes.
So when I saw this, I was like, I knew exactly who to give this to. So I didn't write in it because I wanted you to keep it, and I got you one too, Tiana, because I know you're pretty much the same too. So is that the greatest thing you ever saw in your life?
Snoop Dogg, congrats on your new hizzle.
Yes.
Congrats
on your new hizzle. And I know there's only a section that will probably get that, but Snoop Doggy Dog, if you're watching.
Snoop
Dogg. We represent you, and I do have a link for these. But maybe we'll get Snoop on the show, but you have to have me on that show too.
I promise I will invite you for that show.
Tiana probably knows him.
Yeah. Well,
personally.
Listen, I'm just going to plead the fifth on this one.
Yeah, but I saw you that, and it reminded me of you, so I knew you'd love it.
Thank you so much.
You're
and
welcome.
Send us the
awesome.
link, and we'll post it on our page so that people can click on it. Because realtors, come on now, who does not need this?
Yeah, no, absolutely. When somebody gets their house, a little congratulations on your new house coming from Snoop. That's amazing.
On your new hizzle.
On your new hizzle.
Your new hizzle.
On your new hizzle.
For Rizzle.
For Rizzle. Yes. Well.
Okay, that's hysterical though.
So our today on our show, we're going to be doing our market update for August 20. Well, it's August 2022 stats, but this is the September market update that we have. So.
Right. We'll be telling you all about what happened last month, even though we told you what was happening during
the month. This is the official numbers that got released on the report, so that's what we're just going to be going over. And you know, this is so funny. We were just saying before the show, like for the numbers people, like this group of girls is not the numbers girls, but
yeah, we're fully expressive. We're giggly. We are glitzy.
Can do this. We can do this.
We can sell real estate in heels.
Yes.
That's what we do.
We can.
Yes, I always say that like I could never be a CPA. I'm not that good with numbers, but when I'm calculating whatever has to do with your house, don't worry, I will get it done.
You're like, I got it.
I got it.
I got it. No, it's a skill set, right? And we take care of business.
That's right. Yes.
But it is pretty ironic that on the most analytical show of the month, they got these three super expressive people. Yeah, we're like, who would be great to talk numbers with?
Who would be great to talk numbers with?
Let's bring Mia. Mia's fantastic.
Let's go.
Nobody knows numbers like Mia, right?
That's
right. Everybody in the industry that knows us is probably cracking up right now. So
yeah.
So let's start with our weekly numbers.
Okay.
That we always start with. So our inventory for the week, we have 7,723 single-family residences.
We do. And we've had some price reductions in there for 1,706 price reductions that happened this week.
Yep.
Wow.
Big numbers, but they've been hovering where 3 to 4 weeks now that it's been around that same 7,000, which I love. It's not going up. I mean, it's high, but it's not going up further, so that's good.
Right. And it's very, I guess, kind of a breath of fresh air to sort of have this moment, right? I always liken a shift, and when things are changing, we're far enough in the shift that the majority of people who work in our industry and those who are clients of our industry are now understanding what is happening. And so it's going back to the way it was. I was talking to Trish yesterday, and I was reflecting as I was driving that what we had been accustomed to in this frenzy that had happened was so crazy. Like there was things we didn't even, like when I look back at, I can't even believe we did some of the stuff we did or wrote some of the offers we wrote because it was such madness and chaos. Now we have some breathing room.
It's true. I mean, when you're, going from escalation clauses and multiple offers, and it was a true frenzy. I mean, this feels, it feels weird because it's kind of like, patience, at a time of like sitting still, but an active patience.
Yeah.
So, but you can tell now kind of the sellers are feeling it too.
Right.
Yeah.
And an important thing to say there is it's not that like we were doing it as we weren't like saying like, oh, write these offers
Right.
because for no reason.
had
The
to.
buyers were telling us like, oh my gosh, do what is
were-
necessary. I want this this
true.
house. Like you have to figure out a way to make it happen. So we had to come up with a solution. And now that we don't see that anymore, it's like, wow, it is crazy how in a matter of months things can change so rapidly.
Yeah. Now I look back on it, just feels like a fever dream. Like, was that real?
Yeah.
Did we do that?
It was a rush. It was like spring break of
Spring break of real estate.
Las Vegas real estate.
Have you ever like felt though the like I felt like this thing where sometimes with buyers where they're just like get it, do whatever it takes, and you're just like,
Yeah.
you know what, why don't you just like calm down, and like during that hot time, and you're just like, well, calm down, let's wait and see what happens. It's not the right house for you. Don't push yourself into it, and they're trying to push into it. And even as a realtor, it's like, we're like uncertain if we're giving them the right advice there, but it feels like it was the right advice. And now, that things have changed. It was good advice.
It was good advice, yeah. And I felt like I like madness and chaos. So when I was on the roller coaster, I was like, yeah, okay, let's make an offer. I mean, I wasn't letting my clients make stupid decisions. Somebody'd say, let's get it. We won't do a home inspection. You're absolutely going to do a home inspection. We want a snapshot of that property condition when we purchase. That's happening. But as for the overappraised value or doing lease backs or anything that it would take to get them in contract, which now it's still anything that it would take, it's just, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, and on the listing side, selling a property, 0 days due diligence, and they're, waiving appraisal, paying $50,000 over. I mean, that was pretty awesome to be able to see those kind of offers coming in, so it was nice, but this is refreshing. I mean, I guess this is kind of the norm, correct?
Yeah.
Is this a pretty balanced? I mean, we're getting back to a pretty balanced market.
This feels like old school real estate. We're having conversations. Things are moving slower. We're definitely seeing prices adjust to correct themselves. So it's not the constant like 16, 18, 21% growth over month. No, we're not worrying about that. We're just... she's looking at me like she wants to talk. Go,
yes,
go, girl.
We're living real estate right now like the real estate shows. Like during this last, the frenzy. I don't know, we're gonna have to find a good name for that. But during the frenzy,
But it was a frenzy.
Yeah.
That is a good name.
During that time, it's like get in a house, choose it. But you know how you watch in the real estate shows, like the shows that like show like people buying homes, and they're out with the realtor and they're looking in the homes, and then they look at all these homes, and then they meet with them at a desk, and then they review over all their likes and their dislikes about the home, and then they choose which one they want to go back and see again. Like during the frenzy, like that, there was no such thing as that.
Oh, absolutely not.
No, you sleep on it, you're not sleeping in it, it's not happening. Like that wasn't a thing. But now we're back in those times where like we can like do the whole like process slowly and step by step.
Fun, especially for first-time home buyers, to be able to shop and to be able to say, which one do you like the best? Let's talk about this. Which one do you have? And they actually have choices, because I mean our inventory was so low too forever.
Yeah, there was
no
times where
choices.
we were under 3,000 homes available.
There was no
nuts.
experience to it.
Yeah, there were a few months that I didn't even take clients out. I'm like, we're just writing offers. Why go see it if we can't get it?
And it was a disappointment. I mean, you could feel it with them. It was frustrating for the buyers.
Oh, yeah.
Too. And I do have a couple new buyers that have come on the scene now, and I'm grateful. I mean, their purchase power might not be as much as it was then with interest rates, but they have the time and they have more inventory and they have more choices.
Well, they get to experience what buying your house for the first time is. Back in the frenzy, that wasn't happening, and to be perfectly honest, the shopping part is the most fun of a real estate transaction. The rest of it's paperwork and looking at addendums and picking home warranties. None of that's fun, necessary, but not fun. At least going and looking at architecture and decorations and front yards
and being hopeful
pools.
about the process and excited about it. And we did miss out on that for the past 2 years.
We did. We did. And the people who got the houses, they got houses, and it's great. But for their shopping experience, they're probably not looking back with fond memories. They felt a little beaten and kicked when they were down.
I mean, you would pull up and see 15 people in line to see a house when it came on market and stand out in the sun last summer.
So glad it's over.
I mean, I remember standing in line with clients in 105 degrees to get into a house as it.
I was doing that with a client at one time. We're in a line. We're outside. There's maybe 6 to 7 people, a couple people in the cars that weren't even in the line that were just waiting in their cars for it to go.
It's hot.
And my buyer says, is looking at everybody, says, do you think they're all going to make an offer?
Probably. We already have ours written.
Well, that's the thing. I would be in those lines with offers already sent to the agent. And then there was no communication with agents. I guess overwhelmed as buyers agents were. Us as listing agents were also overwhelmed. How many times have you done net sheets for 40 offers?
Oh gosh, I know. Yeah, I was just, I was so like, it was sweet, his optimism. Like, no, they're not all going to offer on this. Of course they are.
They're not all going to offer after this. Half of them already have offers in.
It's like, yes.
So this is the new normal.
Yes, new normal.
Our old new normal. This is pre-frenzy.
Yeah, I heard the term pre-COVID, that we're back in a pre-COVID.
Yeah, like COVID wasn't real. I say this all the time. COVID wasn't real. That whole like last 2 years was just a fake world. Didn't happen. Let's erase it. Like erase everything that happened there. I wish we could just rewind everything that happened. The average showings, instead of lines outside of doors right now, we're having an average of 2 showings per week. Wow.
Yeah.
That feels so slow. I mean, it really does feel, having listings, it feels very slow.
Yes, and I didn't make up that number. That is a showing time statistic that was reported in the greater Las Vegas area. And, for years before the fake world of 2020, but for years, our thing that we were always trained and learned and told is that the average showings is 3 to 5 per week. When you're talking to a seller, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, if you're not getting 3 to 5 showings per week, then that is an indicator that we either need to work on the presentation, the access, price. There's something that's keeping buyers away. A lot of times it's price. We all know that price is the biggest motivator for buyers. However, that 3 to 5, we're down to 2.
Yeah.
And during the craziness, it was like, if you're not getting 20 showings a week, something's wrong with your house.
Yeah,
right. It's definitely drastically changed.
Yes.
Right. And and that goes for every aspect of the business, even calling to book showings to go see these houses once or twice, and the agents are ecstatic. They're like, yes, did you like it? You're not even out, you don't even have the keys back in the lockbox, and they're like, hey, do you have any feedback? Are you going to make an offer? How can we get this house in your client's hands?
Yeah, before agents were like, don't call me, stop calling me, I don't want to talk to you. And now they're like, hi, how are you? Wonderful day. You know what? I had an agent the other day. It was like, I'll go and open all the windows to make sure that the buyers have the best experience when they're there.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're going to drive past town.
We're back to seeing, that maybe that 1 or 2 offers on a house, and and they're not coming in at list price either. I'm seeing offers coming in, which is we haven't experienced in a while too.
Yeah, right now all of the things that I'm doing with my buyers, it's pick your top favorites. Those are the ones we're going to look at. Then they're able to go look at a home. There's some time for them to sleep on it, which didn't happen. And when they come back to me, I'm like, listen, if you love it and you want it, we're just going to offer list price, because that is going to get this deal done. One offer goes out, list price, and we're in contract. Yay!
Yeah.
So much better.
I'm back to reviewing comps, looking at comps with buyers. I mean, before, it's not like we never reviewed comps at all, but before you'd review comps and be like, well, the comps say this, but you're not going to get a house for this.
Yeah, when offers are coming 50, 60, 70,000 over appraised value, comps mean nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's really highest and best. It's all a bid, where it's like, early eBay days. Everybody's going nuts. So another thing that I'm finding interesting about this market is condition is a factor again. When we were in the frenzy, it didn't matter. 4 walls and a roof, we'll take it.
Right.
Doesn't matter what it looks like. Now, I got buyers walking into houses, and if it's not showing dark or a little dirty or lived in or they have animals, they're like, yeah, I don't think this is the house for me. I'll go somewhere else.
So during the last 2 years, what was as far as condition, the most like absurd or insane or whatever house that you toured that was on the market that you were like, what, why?
Oh, I can't even tell you how many houses that were just falling apart, really. Hoarder houses, mismatched flooring, carpets had holes in it, was fraying, there were holes in the walls, air conditioning wasn't working, there was standing units all over the place, active leaks in the backyard where green, I don't know, algae, mold, whatever organic substance was growing on the walls, tearing down the stucco. You could see like block wall framing underneath some of them. I mean, there were some awful houses.
I mean, they just put it on the market. They didn't even
were
care.
but they were
literally
getting
people
market value.
that were just putting a for sale by owner sign out. Hey, let's just we don't have any plans to move, but let's just put a sign out front, see what happens. And they were getting like legitimate offers on their houses,
Yeah.
I mean, I got a couple for sale by owners listings during that time,
Yeah.
But they were, let's just see. Hey, maybe we'll
Yeah,
move.
so I would love that you brought up for sale by owners, because that's a topic that I wanted to hit on today, because there was a big report this week on how for sale by owners are suffering. It's no longer people scouting out any kind of property. There's options out there, and when you don't have the marketing or pre-approval letters coming in and you're not really dealing with the best, most qualified buyers, then they are struggling. And so agents and agent coaches are, promoting, go find those for sale by owners.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole episode on for sale by owners next week.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So that is that's what our topic is going to be. Is like
well,
what,
then I will shut up.
What to no?
I'll be like, I'm just okay. Just jump in the gun. Don't mind me.
Great preview. No, we're going to talk about like what they're experiencing, what they're seeing, and everything like that, and what's going on with those. So because that is a huge, big, interesting topic.
Well, it's just everything in real estate is being affected. It's not just agents.
Oh, new construction.
Right.
Finally, we're getting paid on some new construction that, they weren't paying real estate agents on. We're seeing commissions come back. I've seen 4%, commission come out from some builders, and they're giving incentives back whenever, we were having to put multiple offers in just to get a lot on new construction. So that's nice to see too.
Absolutely.
Yep. It
So-
all seems to have died down, and it's projected to stay this way for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So Mia, did you see any crazy houses that were in like absurd condition over
gosh.
the last couple years when everything was nuts that would not be acceptable today?
I mean, I experienced some crazy things, but a lot of them is when the owners are there and it's being and you're showing. You're showing your house, and when you have 25 showings, I mean, it's almost impossible for them to not live at the house. And they just got so used to their house being shown. I just remember like walking through with my clients, and I'm like, just don't say anything, the owners are here. And you see like their kids doing their homework with masks on, and like she's cooking dinner, and they're like, can you put booties on and this or that, and I mean, one time we even had a couple that was, I don't know, they were we ran into a couple that had just got done skinny dipping in their pool. The pool was empty. I'm not joking.
The pool was empty.
The house was empty.
Oh.
The house was empty, and we see water trail, and the agent comes out horrified with this face on, just like, oh my gosh. And then I see an older couple come out, and Gloria, if you're watching, you will remember this. And they were like dripping water wet, and they got in their car, and they're like, we already have 7 offers. And they took off.
They are living their best life.
Living their best life. They were having one last dip in the pool. And I know they were.
Good.
But
Good
the
for
agent
them.
coming up before me, it was hilarious. He was like, his face was like white, and the couples were just like, oh my gosh, so that was funny.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I mean, that was what.
That was the Wild West.
was-
the
It didn't
frenzy.
matter. Yeah. No, I had a house that had gummies in every room. like the cannabis, like gummies, THC gummies, like the weed.
Every house I go in feels like it has cannabis everywhere.
Well, no, but it was
I'm not
weird
mad.
because it was every room. I'm like, and they were like
every room.
open these like open packages of gummies.
For
We're
the
like,
clients to come through.
I don't know. I was like, what is going on? And who is this person? They can't go from room to room without a package of gummies.
Were they like out open like a candy jar?
Yeah, no, it was just these
That's
like
Snoop's
these,
house. Every time I've ever been there, it's exactly like that.
It was these packages that were like open because I'm looking because I seen one in one room and then I see like a different one, like a different color in the other room. And I'm like, what is this? And I look and I'm like, why are they in every room? Like, what is going on? And then
That's hospitality,
Oh,
Trish.
yeah.
I think you're not seeing the silver lining.
all of the fire alarms were gone. So the guy, we didn't know the smoke alarms were gone, but it was a nice house. So we didn't know like what was going on. And I didn't even know he was there. We're like touring the whole house. We didn't know the homeowner was there. And I'm seeing all these gummies, something that's weird. And then he just like comes out of a room like Kato. And he's like, hey. I'm like, oh my God, someone's here. Like, what are you doing here? And he was like, he started talking to us. And I was like, hey, just, quick question. Because it wasn't an old house. It was like newer. I was like, why are there no smoke alarms? He's like, because they beep in the middle of the night. I took them all down. I was like, wow, that's great.
That's probably not why they were beeping. Not random.
That's going to come up in the inspection report.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's definitely in the inspection report.
But that was odd. So like just things like that. These days, don't do that. Like these days, like talk to your realtor. You're going to have to do a complete presentation and staging. We need to talk about staging on one of these episodes because that's going to be important right now too.
Yeah, well, it's all of the sort of tools in our toolbox as realtors that we should have, knowing how to market, how to present, and that is all coming back. For people who came in the business, say, the last 2.5 years, they have no idea what it's like to actually work real estate.
And do the professional pictures. We were seeing pictures that were just taken with the iPhone. I mean, the whole listing presentation and marketing and photos, videos, all of that is going to be so important in the future, and the people that are doing that, I think it's gonna really show.
Right,
and
because
shine.
historically it's been important. There's such a high percentage of homes that are staged that sell and for more money than other homes. And when we're looking at condition and options, you have to stand out. Trish always says real estate's a beauty pageant for homes, and she's absolutely right. And for most cases, the frenzy doesn't count, but nothing does. It was like a bad trip.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so our median home price, these are the August stats. So before, let's just, so people remember what happened in July. Our July closings were 2,906 of single family units.
So we're closing less.
Yeah, August of all units, not just single family. 2,906 was our total closed units in Las Vegas. August was 2,002 single units and 611 condos, townhouses. So that equals to, now I have to do math. Oh my gosh, 2,613. So
good.
down.
You get a gold star.
Yay! Our August sales are down from even July, which we knew, we expected, we've seen it week over week.
Well, when you're living it, you know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
So nothing that we're seeing here is anything that we haven't discussed and that we haven't seen or that we said was coming. Right? We're sort of forecasting all of these things. So we're right on track.
Yep. Absolutely. And our units, our median home price. So median home price of new listings is $481,450. However, the median home price of sold listings actually closed is $450. So that's dropped.
Yeah, and that goes back to those 1,700 price reductions that we're having.
Yeah.
Because the market, like we've talked in the past, is correcting itself. And now I think I talked to an appraiser this week, and he and his group of appraiser networks, they are sort of looking at the market like, what if it had grown normally from 2019 to where we are now? That's what it should be, and they're trying to deduce some of the frenzy markups and the overappraised values and stuff that happened. So even though some people are still pricing at 481, thinking that that's the real value, then the market is saying, well, no, we've dipped. We're going back to what reality looks like.
Yeah.
And offers coming in under list price that are being accepted as well.
That brings it back to
pendulum
that
has
like
shifted.
magical 20% number, because if you think about the average, what you're supposed to appreciate year over year
Right.
is 5 to 7%.
Healthy growth.
Healthy
right.
growth, but what we've been appreciating over the last couple of years is more to 30 to 40%. But when you calculate that brings us around the 20%
Right.
benchmark, which is where I've been thinking the adjustment's going to be somewhere close
you've
to that.
consistently said that this
Yeah.
entire year, that when the market does shift, it's going to be about a 20% correction. And a lot of
is still
economists
good.
have, said the same thing.
Yeah, it's that weird COVID stuff. So we have 4 months of inventory. We have less. We only have 3 months in condos and townhouse units. I think because they're still entry homes, they're selling quicker.
Right.
Yeah, but 4 months of inventory on single family units. Wow, up 293.8% since the year before.
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
That is crazy.
Well, because we had nothing.
Yeah.
We had nothing.
We had nothing. And then there were those late ones that were like, I'm waiting for the top. I'm waiting for the top. And you call them, you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Well, we're waiting. And then, they kind of missed it.
Well, they've missed it now. It's over.
It's
Yeah.
over. It's that was bye-bye.
And so I seen this years ago, and it just always comes to my mind when someone says, I'm waiting for the top or I'm waiting for the bottom. Someone will draw a line and be like, hey, okay, watch this line. And tell me
very
when we're at the top.
Keller
Tell me when we're at the top. No, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's done.
Right, because right.
Yeah.
And I just always advise, we're going to come close. Like right now, my buyers are like, oh, what if prices drop by the holidays or whatever? I'm like, they're not going to drop significantly. And you might as well get into your house and quit wasting your time and money. I mean, you're never going to be the one who always gets the top or always gets the bottom, but you can come close.
We're seeing less new listings listed every week over week. I'm
Yeah.
seeing a lot less new listings listed because during the beginning of when this all started happening, everybody was like, hurry up and sell, get out while you can, or whatever, I don't know. But all these new listings came out. Now we're seeing less new listings because sellers are at the point now where they're like, if I'm going to have to drop even further, I'm not selling.
Right, it's not worth it.
Right. So the buyer's mentality where they're saying, oh, I'm going to wait till they keep on dropping, keep on dropping, keep on dropping. No, I think that instead of that, we're just going to see less listings available because people don't want a bargain basement their home, and we're not in a foreclosure market.
Right.
That's what's different between now and 2008. 2008, people didn't have a choice. There was no choice there.
Right.
They had to short sell. They were trying to get out. They couldn't make their mortgage. They didn't have equity. They were upside down. Most people put healthy down payments on these homes. They have equity. They don't have to panic sell.
Right.
It's true.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely true.
Yeah, so I don't think we're going to see that.
Yeah, and according to CoreLogic, which runs our MLS, they have already projected that we're going to see less and less homes coming on the market through the end of the year. So don't expect that number to go from almost 8,000 units to 12,000 units, which would really put us in a buyer's market. Everybody's like, oh, we're in a buyer's market, we're in a buyer's market. Technically, you got to have like 6 months of inventory to be in a buyer's market. So we're not there yet because we're about 3, almost 4 months of inventory.
Yeah.
But it's just not that buyer's market yet. But I don't think we're going to get there just because, and I think stock is going to be the reason.
Yeah.
We're just not going to have that stock. We
Supply.
have more stock, but
Yeah. And
supply.
traditionally, it kind of during the holidays slows down a little.
But those are
winter
always my
times.
favorite times to do real estate because anybody buying and selling around the holidays and the chaos of the holidays, they are serious. That deal is closing.
Yeah.
Buyers and sellers, they are in 100%. And that's exactly how I like my clients. Fully invested.
Years ago when I first started, I was pretty new, like a couple years in the business. We had this one listing, beautiful house, but the market wasn't as strong, or whatever. It was probably a similar market to this, but it was this house just wasn't getting the activity. We had it listed for a couple months and it'd get a couple showings, not the offers. We did some price adjustments, and finally sellers were like, you know what, let's just take it off the market. It's Christmas. I don't want people in this house with my Christmas tree and everything, my family, and it's not worth it for like the, what we have going on. So it's like, okay, so we withdrew it temporarily with the idea of listing it in January. Well, when we withdrew it, one thing that happens when you withdraw a listing or a listing expires, everybody gets bombarded with the cold calls.
Yeah.
The expired calls.
So, you see your house didn't sell. What caused it not to sell? I'd like to come over and talk to you about how I could sell your house for you.
Yeah, I'm better. Don't worry. Blah, blah, blah. All these things, right? So
You have to warn them. You have to warn them.
I do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And,
No, you
and it
set
was like,
expectations
yeah, it was like
for
even
sure.
we could temporarily withdraw for a month, and he was like, just take it off. I just don't want, we'll start again in January, just fresh, whatever. So, anyways, got bombarded with calls. Day 2, he was like, Trish, come back, relist it. just
stop calling.
Yeah, and it's December.
He's beaten into submission. He's like, I can't take anymore.
I don't care. Just relist it. If I have one more person show up at my door or whatever, I'm not dealing with this. He's like, just get it back, get back on the market. Well, whatever. He says, raise the price by like 40,000. So like,
Oh my gosh, I remember this story.
Yeah, no one will call. No one will call because that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
But however, something happened during that December. We had like this uptick of activity that was odd and different during that December. This was like 16, 17.
Yeah.
It was like the busiest December ever for some random reason when like months before that were so slow.
That's
we
when
got
I fell in love
an
with the
offer.
holidays
Yes,
in real estate.
He said, how did we get an offer when we just raised the price? I'm like, this is just real estate. That's how
It just changes so fast.
so fast.
quickly.
Like we had this like crazy uptick in buyer activity. So it's like, yeah, the buyers came and he's like, but they made an offer. They bought the home. They loved the home. Everything worked out.
That story.
Yeah, no, that's a great story. I remember you when that happened. You were just like shaking your head, like, Tiana, I can't believe this. And I was like, hey,
How does that happen?
it's real estate. It has its own life force. It does whatever it wants.
Yeah.
We're just here to help it, kind of keep it confined. Okay.
For sure. As we thought we were going to do, we did hit everything kind of that we needed to talk about, the important numbers, but we've been going on and on. I didn't realize the time.
It's past time.
I knew we would do this.
I
knew
did
it
too.
would.
Well, I'm glad you called it out because I was going to sit here and talk to you
It's
ladies
gonna be
all
part
day.
2.
Right.
We were talking about that. Do you want to join us on our FSBO show next week?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll be here.
We can have Mia back.
I love FSBOs.
Yes. So we next week we're going to be talking about FSBOs and
Very nice.
For sale by owners.
Is your genre mostly realtors that watch or friends, realtor? What do you?
We have a pretty good
Variety.
Variety.
Yeah,
It was-
absolutely.
when this show first started, it was originally intended for consumers that were interested in knowing about what's happening in real estate right now, real time. However, because we talk about what's happening in real estate right now, real time, and we have a lot of top producers on the show all the time, and a lot of people that are very versed and very knowledgeable in the industry. A lot of realtors find the content very valuable, and I talk to realtors all the time that watch the show faithfully. So we've turned into just a real estate news show.
That's awesome.
Right. And yeah, we do have a great variety, and I have people all the time, especially like when I'm making phone calls, like, what does your client need? How can we put a deal together? And they maybe not have that information available in their brokerage, or they don't do high enough volume to really understand the life force that's happening in the market or anything like that. So I'm like, oh, let me just send you the podcast on it, and I'm educating them through the podcast.
Well,
but then they stick around and they like, oh wow, this is great. It's a resource.
Well,
for
I always
them.
try to watch my language. That's what is, if like FSBO, if we say FSBO, like, what does that
Yeah, the
mean?
consumer's
For
like,
sale
what are
by
you talking
owner.
about?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
That's
for
awesome.
sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
that'd be great.
Yeah, no, it's for everybody. It's just real estate news. Anybody that's interested to know what's happening in Vegas real estate, that's why you're here. And keep tuning in. Next week we'll be back at 9:30 on Thursday, and I think, unless Mia's joking, she's coming back to see us again. And
We might still
Mia,
be here.
if somebody wanted to get a new hizzle, how would they get a hold of you?
If you are a realtor and you're watching and have a client that wants that just closed or is closing and you want one of these cards, that they'd be perfect for, I will send you the link and Trish will post it And
they can
it's a
call
link.
you, or you got an
Yeah,
email.
yeah.
Tell us what's your
Oh,
information.
it's what is my information?
Don't be stingy, girl. Tell us.
702-412-7255, and I'm on like every social media
Oh yeah.
thing
Yeah.
genre there is, or you can text me. So I'm easy to communicate with.
You can look up Mia Wolfe. She's a celebrity on social media. She is all over there.
Kind.
Yes. And Tiana?
Oh, I'm still at 702-379-9948. Call me, text me.
I'm sure people that watch every week already know your number. They
Yeah,
got it
and
memorized.
you've got a following. They know how to get a hold of you. But for those newbies out there who just stumbled across us and went, oh, these girls are funny. They're so giggly, like little Furbies.
Furbies.
That's part two.
That's hard too. So how do they get a hold of you?
We got to bring your Furbies.
I will.
No, don't bring your. She's joking.
please.
She's joking.
It's
Don't bring it.
702-308-2878. That's my cell phone number, best way to reach me. Listener questions. You have questions you want us to answer on the show, email them to vegasrealtycheck@gmail.com. Thank you.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, you guys.